Welcome to the Life and Transitions Experts YouTube channel and Facebook group. I'm your host, Courtney Rollins, owner and operator of Estate Pro Service, where we like to say we are helping folks in their biggest transitions in life, particularly with property and offering solutions there. But one of my favorite things to do on this channel is bring amazing professionals that are in a similar space where they're helping people through some of their biggest transitions, helping people figure out issues, figure out challenges. And one of the biggest awesome challenges that we have that I think has been coming up, or it's not me, but the data is showing, is our population that is living longer and as a result, needing more support and more services. And today, I have the pleasure and honor to speak with and share with you Trish Cook, owner and operator of Cook Care Management in the Triangle area. Trish, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm blessed. I'm doing well. And Trish and I met at a dementia capable care networking event, which is an awesome. Well, actually, I'll let you share more about some of the stuff that they do because I know that's one of your specialty, speaking
Yeah.
to and providing service for people who have brain and trauma challenges or issues, particularly with dementia and all. So, Trish, why don't you share with us who you are and what you do, and then I'm just going to dig in and ask more questions
Yeah,
as we
absolutely.
rock and roll.
So, as you already said, I'm Trish Cook. I'm the owner and operator of Cook Care Management. It's an aging life care management firm. I am a gerontologist with a background in psychology, and my team is comprised of many amazing individuals, ranging from physical therapy, psychology, behavioral health, certified brain injury specialists, dementia specialists. So we've got quite a range of people. But what we do is we help navigate everything related to aging and assisting those with brain injury to improve their lives to allow them to work to their best ability. So that's kind of what we do as a business. And the dementia capable cares group that you were talking about, I was actually the education liaison where we trained local businesses on dementia, on how to navigate through the various systems and the various settings so that way they knew if somebody came to them, let's just say, like if there's a restaurant, if somebody
Right.
came to them and ordered something and all of a sudden they brought out their food and the thing was, well, I didn't order that. Well, they're not trying to be rude. It's they
Mm-hmm.
don't remember what they ordered, and how do you combat that in that system right there? So
Well, that
yeah.
sounds like, I mean, particularly well, all that you do, the work that you do, giving people awareness and people who are in service spaces or spaces where, our population of folks who are, suffering from dementia, giving them the tools to be able to see signs that show, oh, this may be someone suffering, and the skills on how to address and deal with that. It seems so important. If you don't mind me asking, I did. We talked about it when we had when I had the pleasure to speak to you when we sat down for coffee and looking in your website. You have an amazing story. Can you share with folks what brought you into this space and brought you into this world?
Absolutely, my heart and soul.
Wow,
So
yeah, right.
I got into this actually because when I was a child, my grandparents were both very strong people in my life. And all four of my grandparents were, but my grandparents on my mom's side were lived right down the street. We were all very
Oh,
close.
wow.
And my grandfather, unfortunately, was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And we saw how he was and saw the signs and saw stuff, but really didn't understand where it was coming from at first. I mean, I was 9 years old, so I didn't know. Um, and in doing all that, I kind of watched him and was his support system. And I don't know, me and my grandpa were really, really, really close. And as his diagnosis progressed, he couldn't tell us what he did for a living. And he was somebody who, in my mind, was a very strong and powerful individual.
Right.
He was a superior court judge up in New Jersey. And
Oh,
all of a
wow.
sudden, he didn't even tell us that he was a lawyer. He couldn't tell us anything about what his job ever was. So watching him deteriorate in that manner really struck a chord with me. And I was like, what in the world is going on? How does this happen? Why is this happening? Why is this happening to him? Didn't understand it. And so I ended up doing my best research projects for the rest of my rest of my high school days, and everything I did was geared towards dementia and Alzheimer's. And then I realized after he passed away that we were kind of ignoring the signs of my grandmother, and she ended
Oh
up being
wow,
diagnosed
yeah,
with dementia. So we saw that and thought this is the same thing. And sad to say, it was not. They did not progress the same. They did not act the same. Nothing about their diagnoses were the same. And so I took that even deeper and I was like, I'm going to figure this out. And so
right,
I went to my undergraduate degree and got my degree in psychology, and then went to continue my education and got my degree and I got my master's degree in gerontology, and
right,
worked for a company for a while and decided this is where I need to be. This is what I need to do. And I need to help as many people as I can. And so
yeah,
my company started 8 years ago, and with the main focus of Alzheimer's and dementia, and has since blossomed and grown into the world of traumatic brain injury and brain injuries themselves, due to the care of one of my employees who really brought it to my attention that they are very, very similar. And so we started branching out a couple years ago and expanding our services from not only seniors with dementia and Alzheimer's, but to those 18 and older who have brain
right.
injury and have brain injury needs.
Wow, so a wide range, and I don't know why, why the universe or God or however people describe it, give people certain challenges and things, and sometimes people seem to face them and come out with just beautiful services and stories and things that come from challenges and tragedy. I mean, imagine seeing your granddad, who sounded like a powerful person, come to the space that he was in, and then realizing that you may have not seen the signs from your grandma. That just it sounds like it's very gripping, but it seems powerful, Trish, that you've taken that and turned it into something that's serving and helping so many people. So really, kudos to you
Thank
for
you.
offering your life to that. Yeah,
Thank you.
I
Yeah,
wonder.
when it's in your heart and soul, you just run with
Right.
it.
Yeah, that shines it shines through with the way you speak about the services, the work. Every time I speak to you, I learn something a little different. I have so many, uh, like right now, I'm thinking you're talking about how it showed up a little different for your grandparents. I know this may be a hard question to answer. Maybe it's easy because this is what you do. But what are some of the signs that we may see from people around us, whether they are seniors or just people around us, where we're like, hey, this person may be demonstrating some signs that makes me want to like find out if they need support or help.
Yeah. So everybody is going to be different, and that's where it is a little complicated to answer the question, right? But reality is that the main thing with dementia and Alzheimer's is memory loss. Um,
Memory loss.
it can show up differently, but it can show up in memory loss on how to perform a task, whether that's driving or using a phone. It can show up with somebody who's maybe forgetting names, somebody that they have known for a while. They know the face, but they can't quite put the name out there.
Right.
It could show up in ways of behavioral changes. Maybe they seem spot on with what they're saying, but all of a sudden they are a little more triggered to get angry. Or maybe they're isolating themselves a little bit more. Some people can hide it really, really well.
Right.
I've met a lot of people who you can speak to them and have no idea that there's something going on. But when you get into the thick of a conversation and really dig in, that's when you start seeing the spottiness in their memory, and you realize that they've started to pull away from social engagements where they used to be very social people,
Mm-hmm.
just because they don't want to face the awkwardness because they know it's awkward. They know they don't have the
Right.
answers. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
different ways, but those are some of the main ways you can spot it.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying it looks different for every person, but seeing a particular memory loss or behavioral changes, or it sounds like seeing signs of someone compensating for what maybe something they started to recognize, like not going into social settings as much and all. So, especially if we're around people and have relationships, I'd imagine that anything that looks starkly different from, I mean, we all grow and we all change, but something that looks very different from what we may be noticing, maybe some signs. And if someone does feel like they're recognizing that, what do you recommend being the next step for them, the
I always
caregiver or
recommend
whatever?
people start digging in and finding answers. Not every person who has dementia is going to be cooperative to going to a neurologist and getting a full checkup. I mean, they take a while and they are invasive in terms of just mentally invasive. But if they can at least start helping prepare and helping to plan, I feel like that's where the best benefit is. So contacting a care manager if it's all possible, but to really have some kind of plan started in place so that when things get bad, whether that's because of dementia and Alzheimer's or any other physical ailment, right? Where the reality is that there is for every person on earth, there's an end. So to create that plan while they are still capable of making their own decisions, to really utilize them, their brain, their resources, their knowledge, their wishes, allowing them to create that plan. I really feel like that's the best thing to do before things get where they can't.
I'm actually one of my old classmates reached out. They saw that I was in the probate and estate planning sphere and world, and I've actually done a video before on like ways to help people have conversations about this is really legacy planning. It seems like there should be like a national holiday or a day off or something where people get annually to have. Let's talk about our family legacy. Let's talk about what it looks like if I get incapacitated or if my cognition starts, dwindling. What do I want to have happen? Because I'm sure I would believe these conversations are much more or easier to have at that time as opposed to when people are facing tragedy and all or facing challenges. Like I remember. So go ahead, please.
No, so it is. It's a lot easier when you're doing it in advance. It's a harder conversation. Let me put it this way. It's a harder conversation because you're facing a very scary thing, but it's an easier outcome than when you are faced with something where you have to make a decision right now. And then you have regret, then you have questions, then you have doubt. But if you can make decisions beforehand, you can change them. You can think about them. You can alter them. So yeah, we should absolutely create a day. I think, Courtney, I think we can do this. We'll create a holiday for this.
You have some big dreams that I think is awesome. And I was definitely going to ask about it. It's right here on my list. But before I do that, if you're watching this and you either have a loved one or maybe even concerned about your own like your plans, you want to get ahead of this, or you're at some stage where maybe you're already in here. At the bottom ticker is Trish's contact information. You can either go to Trish, why don't you share it with some of your contact? If you're listening to this in the podcast, definitely go back to the YouTube channel or join the Facebook group Life and Transition Experts to see our beautiful faces and put a face to the name. But can you share with some of the contact information that people can get
absolutely. You guys can check us out on our website. It's www.cookcm.com. There we have a ton of great information about who we are, how we operate, and what we do. You can also email us directly through there, or you can email me directly at trish@cookcm.com. Those are probably your best ways to kind of learn about who we are, what we do, and we do a free consultation as well, which is important to know. Or you can reach me on my cell phone. My cell phone number is the direct link to me. I have it with me all the time.
Wow. I thought it was a burner number. So, wow.
No, I don't give away fake numbers here. So it's directly to me. A text message works, a call works, however you need to reach out. Sometimes it's not always as easy, but that number is 973-534-0930. Decided to keep my Jersey roots here in North Carolina.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, business seems to be, it's such a much needed resource, and I guess fortunate enough, and I don't want to say sadly enough, because I'm glad that, that people, we have different cognition as we grow and as we go into that stage of our life. People face different things. So I'm glad your services are here. But I say all to say your business is booming. I know the other day we were at a network event and you were saying that, you don't even have to market because so many people are coming to you. And if you did start marketing, you would have to be concerned about the infrastructure that's there. So it's awesome that you are offering these services and so many people are coming to you and getting that support. But I would love for you to share one of your visions and dreams that I think is going to be a reality. In fact, if you're listening to this and and you're thinking about ways to invest and put your money or your ideas in, check this idea out. Can you please share with about your
Yes,
one
I
of your
mean,
big dreams and
we need
vision?
to create a new name for it, of course. But as I joke about it, I want to create Dementia Land. Dementia Land is a space that it's been done in like the Netherlands and other
Right.
places.
Yeah.
But I would love to see it here where we've got basically like a town square where we have individual like family care home style living facilities where it's blocked off from the outside world, but everything inside of this village square is open and accessible so that people can live with dementia freely and just ask questions and wander around and buy stuff. And there's no harm if they forget to pay. There's no harm if they want to pay 20 times. Everybody who is there knows and understands what's going on, that it is just kind of free range life. You can have the people who are working there have day centers for their kids, so you can have adult and child therapy and have their pets in there and have pet therapy and have music and have the bars, have it all.
Yeah.
I
That's
want to
that.
have like this whole space where it's just let's live life.
You have to, yeah, that is awesome. I have heard of it and dug in a little bit to the spaces over in Western Europe that have those spaces because, and it seems like, I mean, it seems well. The thing that stood out to me was that it had people who were skilled and trained to be able to uh, not just support people in there, but let people like breathe in and breathe out as themselves. So this one
Yeah.
seemed like it was targeted towards folks who had schizophrenia and a lot of different type of mental conditions. And yeah, I would love to see that. I can't wait to see that come to fruition.
Yeah. So if
What is it?
somebody who's watching this has lots of money
Yeah,
to help put into this, or
absolutely. It's
the
gonna take.
land or the space or anything.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, this is like such a creative and a heart and soul type project, just like you were mentioning earlier. That I know that you're going to have a lot of folks out there that's going to support this vision to come through. So that is awesome. And what is one of the things that, as you've done this work, I mean, you've been involved so long in some capacity since in high school, but what's something that's either recently surprised you or still surprised you that you've recognize and notice as you've like wow as you've stayed immersed in this space.
Honestly, I think it's the fact that every single person that I work with is so different
Hmm.
that I am allowed to meet people who have had such various lives. I mean, I've had people who have been able to be in like their own personal space for their whole time and just been them, their spouse, their lives, their work, their career. And then I've had people who have lived some very, very difficult things.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, truly and honestly, being able to talk to them and be able to hear what they have to say and get their insights of life every single day, I'm like, I'm in awe of all of them. And, I've met clients who I sit there and I'm like, gosh, this is me. Like, I know this is me. And then
Yeah.
I've met people that I'm like, we couldn't be any more opposite, but I love everything about you. So I think that
Wow.
there's so much about just the people that I work with and getting to know kind of who they are and their stories, what made them them every single day. It surprises me just who I'm even encountering in life.
That I think that's a beautiful thing because it's like especially it seems like the way your personality is set up, you get to unwrap these thousands and millions of stories and gifts that people have, and to be able to hear that like firsthand and all that. Because I imagine it is a very intimate space that you're a part of, as far as going into people's lives and going into houses sometimes and going into their world. So I can only
Yeah.
imagine.
It is. It is very personal because we are entering their space, whatever their space is, whether it's their home, whether it's the home that they raised their kids in, maybe it's a place that they just moved into and downsizing. Whatever the situation is, it's very personal, and we're talking about very personal things. We're talking their healthcare, we're talking their finances, we're talking
Mm.
their legal, emotional, social.
Wow.
We're talking all of it. Their family dynamics. It's not always going to be butterflies and rainbows, right? It's going
Right.
to be the hard things. It's going to be the difficult things. It's going to be the embarrassing things. So when I get a chance to sit down and have some of the fun conversations, I'll say, where I am getting a chance to know who they are as a person and who their family is and who everybody is around them. I love that because it doesn't just stop there. It allows me to see inside to who they are and why they want what they want. So it kind of gives me a lot more insight as to who they are as well.
I can imagine if you know went to school and did deep study into the brain, that the psychology and human psychology plays into that. So I imagine it's cool just to see the puzzle that we are, you know, firsthand. What are some of the like needs that you have as you know cook CM or cook care management has? Like how can people support? How can people best help you? Or if this why was interested in this field or supporting cook care management and stuff you guys do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you guys know anybody who could even just use some guidance, they don't have to go for ongoing care management, but maybe just a plan. It's not so much about supporting us as much as it's supporting the people you know. If there's
Okay.
something that somebody can really utilize, understanding what their next steps are, maybe they're financially struggling and they aren't sure where to turn, what to do. We can help somebody whether they have $10 or whether they have $8 million.
Right.
At the end of the day, we're here to help. And I think that's the biggest thing is that we want to help everybody else. So if you know somebody who
Right.
wants help or needs help, that's how you can help us is helping them.
That is beautiful, awesome. And for someone like me, who I try to be, I don't try to be a jack of all trades, but I really try to um, listen to the needs of folks who have challenges with property and offer as many solutions that as possible. How does someone like me who able to provide either a cash offer to a property because someone needs to sell it quickly, or help them even list it because they need to get the most money out of it, or help them even turn it, monetize it, so they can have some type of income in their different stages in their life, or you know even help them make sure that it stays in their family while it may keep that legacy. How do you see folks like in my practice who may be watching this help you or work with you or partner with folks who are also in care management?
Yeah. So I would say, as you're going through that whole probate side of things, right? If there's somebody who is left who has dementia or Alzheimer's, and maybe they are the surviving spouse, and or they are looking like they need assistance when they're going through these bigger transitions, um, we're here to help with that. I think the biggest thing is that family, I'll say adult children, the daughters and sons of the world who are out there trying to take care of mom and dad and balancing their own families and balancing a
Right.
job and balancing the activities, whatever it is,
Yeah.
they have a lot on their plates. And to have somebody who is, even if it's not Alzheimer's and dementia, maybe it's just general aging, the
Mm-hmm.
doctor's appointments, the family dynamics, the trying to juggle it all, not lose out on work, not quit your job. You've got all these different pieces of the puzzle. And really, when you have somebody like that, let us help that person stay family. They don't need to be the
Mm-hmm.
caregiver, they don't need to be the only person that they can lean on. We're here to help support them and be the person that they lean on, and that we give them the answers about what happened at the appointments. How is everything financially? How are things moving in the home? Do we need to clean up more? Do we need to bring in more help? So instead of having all the pressure on one person or one group of people, we're here to support them to be family and to take that caregiver role off of them.
My goodness, and I can just tell from even just the language and the way you talk about it that I bet people either leave a conversation with you and your services or walk out about 5 pounds, 20 pounds lighter, floating in the air. Because when you said help them stay family, I mean, I'm just thinking about only my personal space in my life, and I have wonderful, beautiful parents who are, you know, thank goodness they're aging because it beats you know the alternative
It beats the
for not
alternative
aging.
for
Yeah, but it's like just help them stay family as opposed to having the you know the challenges that you know the duties that sometimes you know come
yeah,
as a child taking care of your parent. Wow, that's powerful. I'm sure you have
yeah.
seen some
I
powerful
mean, if I could
stories.
count how many times I've had people tell me, I mean, just recently I've had somebody tell me, I feel so much less stressed just talking to you.
Right,
They hadn't
absolutely.
even signed the papers, they haven't signed the
Right.
agreements or anything yet. They were like, I just feel stressed. I feel less stressed even just talking to you. And I'm like, I'm glad,
Yeah.
because that's what we want to do. We want to take that stress away.
Well, how do you like? I mean, with all these stories, I know that a lot of caregivers and just people people in general have to have some type of detached but still authentic compassion. How do you take care of yourself being a part of all these different stories that are
I
sometimes
pour
difficult?
everything into my kids.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about the Nerf fight earlier. Yeah, the Nerf gun fight. Yeah.
Yes, I
Oh
was like, I pour
Lord, look at
everything into my boys. We have our good times, and we, as I just said to you prior to doing this, we just got a
yeah,
whole new box of Nerf guns, so we have Nerf gun wars.
yeah. What's their age range?
They are 5 and 6.
5 and oh yeah, 5 and 6. Yeah, yeah. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that has to be a fun household, fun
Yes,
family. All right, and
they're a
are you
lot of
able
fun.
to?
So I'm sucking all that up while I can before they tell me that I'm
Yeah, I
not cool
imagine.
anymore.
I imagine. Now, are you able to? I mean, I know the spaces that the service you provide are in people's houses in different places,
Mhm.
but are you able to work from home, or do you have a brick and mortar, or
Yep. So actually, all of my team, we all work from our own individual homes,
21st century?
mainly
All right.
because, yep, I say mainly because we are out in their world. It's
Mhm.
not having somebody come and talk to us. On occasion, we'll meet up at a coffee shop instead, but
Yeah.
we try not to have like the super personal conversations at coffee shops and whatnot.
Right.
But when we're doing assessments and meeting people, we want to see what the house looks like. We want to see what the environment is. We want to know what
Yeah.
could be possibly a different trigger that nobody's even aware of. So we want to help out where they are and help manage that. But we do work with people over like Zoom and everything too,
Wow.
because we have a lot of families that are out of state. So they're not here, they're not local, they
Right.
can't be the eyes and ears. So we want to make sure that they know who we are. We'll go see their person in person, but then we'll have our own like family Zoom calls afterwards just to say,
Mhm.
hey, this is what's going on, and here's what we're seeing. Any thoughts, any concerns, any questions? So that way we can still meet with people from different states and different areas.
I know we're coming up on time. I knew this. She was saying she was acting all nervous as if this is going to be a challenge, but
I
this is
know.
awesome. This is awesome. I still have so many questions. I'm going to try to get these two in and then give you back your time. But when you do those assessments or consultations or even a part of the services, do
Mhm.
you do any like risk assessments if someone wants to stay in their house to see like is this a risk for fall or is this a risk for taking medicines when they're not
Oh,
remembering their
absolutely.
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That is 99.9% of what we do when
Oh wow.
somebody wants
Okay.
to stay home. So we
Gotcha.
do home evaluations to see like if there's a
Mhm.
trip hazard potentially. We do med management reviews. We actually have contracted with a pharmacist here within the last few months
Oh,
to get him
congratulations.
on board to make sure that when we are working with our clients that they are not necessarily having any medication issues.
Yeah.
We help them with med compliance. We really kind of help with the whole assessment of is this possible to stay home, because during those assessments too the other piece of that is financial security. So we want to make sure that they are able to afford the services that they want in home and then have the real talk if that's not an option.
Right.
Care is not cheap, unfortunately,
Right.
and it's
Right.
something that people need to see what the reality of their own personal situation is versus what their hopes and dreams are. So we kind of try to lay it all out and say, with what you've told us, we can do X amount of care per hour per day. This is what it would cost. This is what we
Mhm.
would need to do. And then also sometimes in reality, they say I only need 2 hours of care a day. And I'm looking at a situation going, we need probably 6 or 7.
Wow.
So really kind of looking at the full well-being. So our assessments are very all encompassing.
Wow, sounds like it. Sounds like it. Is there any? I'm learning more and more about how the health effects of just being removed from that community and society. Any of it involve just simply, loneliness care or just making sure companionship is provided. I mean, I know
Yeah.
your team is obviously personable and going to create and become friends. I'm assuming, but is there a lot of specifics that hey, I just want you to go check on mom and dad, make sure that they know somebody's thinking about them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we dig into everything as I said, but then yeah, we have our clients that we meet with weekly or every other week. That's just to check in. How's everything going? And a big value of that truly is not just to be social. I mean, it's nice to be able to sit and talk to
Mm-hmm.
somebody. But while we're there, we're seeing if there's any major changes. Family, if they're really heavily involved, they're seeing them every single day. It's harder to see a difference if you're in it every day versus there once a week or once every other week. So if all of a sudden we're going, there's a new limp, or oh, there's a mood shift, we're able to kind of say, well, okay, let's keep an eye on that. Let's bring this to the attention of the family and see if they've noticed.
Great point.
So
That is a great point. Yeah, sometimes you can. It's hard to see right there when you're right there with somebody, but yeah,
mhm.
that's a great point. Well, Trish, I really appreciate your time. I'm going to ask you to give at least one leaving thought with everyone, but before I do that, just everyone, or if you're watching this, check out Trish at the Cook Care Management. That's cookcm.com. The email address is trish at cookcm.com. If you know a loved one or if you're thinking about some type of just support or service, it's important to get ahead of it. But if you're in the thick of it, you will definitely be in the right hands. If you're anywhere in, I'm assuming the Triangle area, or is it? I don't
Yeah,
know.
primarily Triangle area. We can travel outside of that area, but prefer to keep it close.
Right. Now, if somebody, maybe watching this, do you have, I mean, it seems like it's a small world from my few humble connections with the care management world. Do you, like, if someone was calling from Georgia, would you be able to point them in the right direction or someone in
Absolutely.
the
I'm a
space?
member of a national organization, so
I assume
we
that. Glad
have
you
care
left here.
managers all over the place, and I know a good chunk of people. So if there's anybody watching from another state and think, "Gosh, I really wish I had a Trish here,"
Yeah.
please feel free to send me a message, and I'll get you set up with somebody, and I'll show you kind of where to go from there.
Well, that's awesome. And what last thoughts or words would you like to leave with folks, whether about care management or just really anything?
I guess the biggest thing is always plan, always prepare, be happy, live your life, and let family stay family. I think that's a big thing. No
Yeah.
matter what it is, when you're home from work, stay family, and let let
Yeah.
that be.
Oh, that might be a tag on in the tagline if it's not already up there. We let family stay family.
Let
Oh,
family
I
be
love it.
family.
Be family, yeah, awesome. Well, this is Courtney Rollins with Trish Cook from Cook Care Management. Signing off from the Life in Transitions Experts channel. That's LITE. Let your light shine. Cheers.